Hey guys and gals, Perry here, and I am No One You Know for StoryToPixel.com. And today we are going to create for Cinema 4D a virtual reality head-mounted display using your iPhone and Google Cardboard or any type of other, I use a Homodo, so that you can look at your Cinema 4D viewport in virtual reality, 360 degrees by 360 degrees. All right, let's get started. First, you're going to go to StoryToPixel.com, and I'll have a link to the files that you'll need. You'll download the link, unzip them. You'll end up with a folder, C4D, iPhone, HMD template. You open it up, there's two folders, C4D and Osculator. Let's go into the C4D folder. You'll see a C4D file, a Cinema 4D file. I don't think we're going to have to open this up necessarily. It's kind of like a backup. I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. You'll have a layout and an X group. Okay, so this is what we need to do first is go to, what you have to do is on a Mac, you go up here to Go, and if you press Option, you'll see Library up here. You want this particular library because it hooks up to your users. So you need to go to Library, Preferences, and then you go to Maxon. And then you go to your particular Cinema 4D. So in this case, it's R16. And go to Library. And then go down to, where is it? Okay, so you have X group here. So you want to take the X group, that's the XMA in the X group folder. And I would just copy it over so you can still have the original. Okay, so that's in there. For layouts, you need to go to Applications, Maxon, and then go to your Cinema 4D. And then here in Library, you have the layouts folders. So go ahead and take these two right here, the L4D and the PRF. I would just drag them over, holding down Option, so it just copies it over, put it in the layout. And it's going to ask you for your passcode, and then it'll put it in there. Okay, so now you have your layout. Now you have your X group. And if you have Cinema 4D open, you'll need to restart it. That way, these changes will take effect. Okay, so we've done that. Next, we need to download some stuff from the internet. We need to download, first things, hold on one second. Okay, first thing you need to download is you need to go to the App Store on your iPhone, and you need to download Duet Display. Put that on your iPhone, and then you need to go to the website duetdisplay.com on your Macintosh computer and download Mac here. And what this does is it actually puts it on your computer, so you'll have the host on the computer, and then you'll have the client on the iPhone. And you need to have both of those, otherwise it doesn't work. Second thing you need to do is go to this address here. You need to download from the App Store again onto your iPhone GyrOSC. What this is an OSC messenger for motion sensors. So basically it's going to take the sensors on your iPhone, the gyros, the accelerometers and stuff like that we need, and it's going to put it into a way to read it called OSC, which is, I think, Open Sound. Let's find out. OSC files. It's Open Sound something. There we go. Open Sound Control. So let's go ahead and go down here. And there's a whole organization there, tells you everything about it. Basically, what it does is allows different items such as, let's say, keyboards or certain things. It's used in sound to transfer data files from a computer to an iPhone, from an iPhone to a computer, from a keyboard to the computer, etc. It's kind of like MIDI, but it's different. So this is reads all the sensors in your iPhone, and it transmits it through OSC wherever you want. Now, the thing is how do you get it from your iPhone to your computer. Okay, you need this program right here, and it's called Osculator. This right here will download this, and it's really easy, and it's free, except that a message pops up, and I'll show you the message. But a message pops up every so many minutes telling you where you want to buy it. I think if you buy it, it's $19. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to show you what it looks like when the little tag pops up. But I'm buying it myself because this thing is really powerful. You can take OSC messages and turn them into MIDI. You can take MIDI, turn them into OSC, and then you can feed this into Cinema 4D. You can feed this into other programs, and you can use your iPhone. You can use your keyboards to control Cinema 4D and your animations. It's really interesting. So now we've got what's going to happen. We got the app on the iPhone, and it's going to go through the pipe to your computer, actually through Wi-Fi to your computer to Osculator. And then from Osculator, we're going to go into Cinema 4D, and you'll need this. And I'll have the link up online for this. This is FOSC by Phil Member, and he posts this up on GitHub. And this is a plugin for Cinema 4D that receives OSC messages, and is basically like a plug, a socket in Cinema 4D that can read OSC messages sent to it and turn them into animations. And I'll show you that. So you need to download that. This, follow the directions on how to install it. It tells you where to install it. You'll want this in your, in your case, your personal library. Not in the normal library, but just like I did before. You just go up here to Go, press Option, and you'll see Library appear. And you'll notice that it's for the user, which is my user, and it goes to the library. And then you just follow the track that it recommends, which is Library Preferences, Maxon Cinema 4D, whichever version you have, and put it into the plugins folder. Again, if you have Cinema 4D already open, you need to close it and restart it, and that way it'll install the plugin. And this tells you a little bit, and I'll show you this. It's a container. It'll generate if it receives an OSC. Well, I'll tell you that later. Okay, so once you have all those downloaded and installed, this is what we're going to do. Let's prepare the pipeline first, from the iPhone to your computer to Osculator, and then from Osculator to Cinema 4D. This is what we're going to do. First thing is go into the files, the Cinema 4D template file that I gave you, and open up Osculator and just double click on iPhone HMD. Okay. This is what I've set up for you guys already. Now, the first thing you need to do is go up to System Preferences, because we need IP addresses, and IP addresses are, your phone has an IP address, your computer has an IP address. That's how they talk to everything. So what you need to do is go open up System Preferences, go to Network, and then this is the number that you want right here. Type that into, open up on your iPhone, open up GyrOSC, and where it says Target IP Address, plug this number into target IP address. Make sure that your iPhone is connected by Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to swing up, turn on your Wi-Fi, and plug in that IP address. Now, we need a port. So I'm going to close this right here, and you'll notice that the port right here is 8000. So go to your iPhone and make sure the port says 8000. Okay, now once that is done, sometimes it takes a little bit and I have to restart. And this is not unusual. It's pretty rock solid setup. The deal is sometimes setting this up, sometimes the iPhone doesn't want to talk to Osculator, or Osculator doesn't want to talk to the iPhone, and I have to restart either the GyrOSC app on the iPhone. I have to restart that sometimes several times, or sometimes even I have to restart Osculator. So I'm going to pause right now until I get everything lined up. Okay, all I really had to do was restart the app on the iPhone, and it started right up. Now, you'll notice that when I move my iPhone around, I've got these green dots right here with check marks beside them. Those are the pieces of information that I'm actually using. I'm not using any of these other ones, and you can just fold them up to tell you the truth. And it's the different types of sensors on an iPhone. The only ones you're going to be using are gyro. See, here's the little pop-up right here, and it makes you wait for about 20 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and pause. Now it says not yet. It's gone through the 20 seconds. Or you can visit the website to register. You just pay through PayPal and you'll get a license. And I'll do that after I finish the tutorial. I just wanted to show you this, but just hit not yet. And let everything. And you can see that I'm moving around the iPhone because these little green lights are blinking right here. That means information is flowing. And everything else, I've got these four for GyrOSC, gyro, and then this one right here, reorient, and I'll show you what that does in a second. So let's go ahead and hook up everything. So we have the 8000 port right here. We're receiving over the 8000 port. We are receiving to the iPhone, from the iPhone. Now, if you go up here to parameters, I have two more. This is OSC localhost 9000. And what that means is I'm receiving from the iPhone. I am receiving from port 8000. So I have to go to another port to take that information from the iPhone, route it through the Osculator, and then into port 9000, a different port from this one. This is the 8000 iPhone port. This 9000 port is going to Cinema 4D, and it's localhost 9000. And how do I come up with that? Let's see here. If you go to the little gear with the arrow right here, localhost 9000. Now we have the second port, and you're going to need an IP address for this. This second port is the information that you are going to send to the iPhone to tell it to reset the gyro. And we need this IP number. Now, how do you get this? What you need to do is, let me close this, go to IP port and turn all these on right here. Actually, this right here. And then we need to go through and set this to console log. So what we're going to do is it's going to write a little file, a little tag to our console and tell us a little bit of information about the iPhones, about the iPhone's IP address, and also the port number. So console log, and let's just say simple log. That's all you need to do. Now, we need to go here, and the console is going to be in applications, utilities, and there is the console. Okay, so click on the console. It's going to open up. You look for the GyrOSC support, and you're wanting the IP address here, and you're wanting the port right here. Remember these two numbers, write them down, close the console, and then go back to Osculator. And what you want to do is we can go ahead and turn these three off and flip this up. They're not needed anymore. Go back to parameters, and all you have to do is double click on this second port right here and put the IP address here. There's a colon, and then put the port number right there. That should work. So if you need to create a new one, all you have to do is double click here and just enter in the IP address, colon, and the port number. And when you hit enter, it'll automatically put OSC, UDP, all of this information right here on it. And you go from there. Now, as right here, if everything goes right and you don't have to enter the new one, if you have to enter the new one, go down here and make this 3. But you don't have to do that. Make it 2, because this number right here, target number, matches this, which is D. And what that means is this the original source coming from the iPhone. This one right here says number 2, so you put number 2. So this is the main one, and this is number 2. heading 1, number 2. Don't need this. Now, this right here is going to a message, and it's just a piece of code, reorient, /reorient, and it's OSC routing, and number 2. So this number 2 matches this number 2. This number 1 matches the D, which matches the D right here. So in other words, the gyroscope is going to go into Osculator, and it's going to be routed to the local Cinema 4D. While this one right here, which is the reset button for the gyro, is going to be routed to number 2, which is the return port for the iPhone that you looked up on the console. So let's open Cinema 4D, and you want to open that Cinema 4D file that I sent you. Okay, here's the file. You'll notice, go ahead and switch to on the layout to HMD. And you'll see we have 2 tabs up here. We have your standard view, and then we have your HMD view. So first we need to open the plugin, FOSC. And what I like to do is grab it here by the square of dots, and I like to dock it. And then I can get rid of this blank one up here. So now you have create nulls from messages. When you do this from scratch, you'll need this, because what it'll do is anything that is turned on in the gyros and stuff like that, it'll actually create a null. So when you turn it on from scratch, it'll create nulls, and then that's what you use in Espresso to link to the elements that you want to change on Cinema 4D. In our case, it'll be the axis of the camera. So I'm just going to leave this on and see what happens, and see if it still accepts what I did on my other computer, because I'm doing this on a new computer. So make sure that the listening port for this is the same. And Osculator, if you look at parameters, this one right here, port 9000. So this localhost 9000 means I am going to be taking the information that's in Osculator and sending it to Cinema 4D through port 9000. So port 9000, I need to go say, let's go ahead and close that and type that up here, 9000. Okay. And go ahead and start server, and let's see if it actually works. And it does. Isn't that lovely? And if you want to, and I'll show you this, if you want to reset reorient the gyro, you hit the little button on Osculator right there, and it resets the gyro. So now what you can do is, let's see here. Let's go ahead and hide this. Is you can pull this out right here. It says undock me for phone. Just hit the little square, right mouse, and then hit undock. So now how I have it set up is basically it's a two view here. Let me show you real fast. Let me stretch this out. Panel arrangement, it's 2 views side by side, and then I make sure that the cameras use camera. Make sure it's using the camera that I have set up here, both of them using the same. If you want, you could set up the stereo camera and have everything done on a null controlling the stereo camera, and then you could set up left eye and right eye. And also what I need to do show you is this. You need to set up temporarily, just when you're using this, you need to set up the width at 1080 by 1080. It needs to be square, because if you could do 1920 by 1080, this is what happens. It gets tough to judge, because basically what you want is on, like an Oculus Rift is 1920 by 1080. That's the DK2. So that what that means is that both eyes are sharing 1920 by 1080. So one eye is 1080 by 1080 and the other eye is 1080 by 1080. So you need to make sure that the width and the height are the same, 1080 by 1080. Therefore, it becomes a 2-to-1. And what you do is you look at this. and you spread it until the little these shaded areas here that represent the area out of Action Safe, until you get your square right there, like that. Now, this is what you do, is you need to make sure, go to your iPhone and bring up Duet. Now, this needs to be done with the USB cable plugged in to the iPhone, because Duet only works off of USB. The reason I picked this is because it's going through USB 3, and that's a really fast interface. And you're not going to have as much lag if you try to do it over Wi-Fi, because right now over Wi-Fi you're already running the data from the iPhone gyro positions orientation to Osculator. So if you start doing more stuff, you may get some frame skipping and some lag, and it can make you uncomfortable. So right now I got it hardwired in, and I just take the Duet, turn it on. Now sometimes this will actually crash it a little. See what it does. It blanks a little bit. And that didn't seem to work. Oh, yep. I just need to bring it up again. And then you go up to System Preferences and Displays and Arrangement. Now, what you want to do is, this is the iPhone right here. If you're running your home machine and you have a second monitor, what you need to do is put the iPhone between the two monitors. So you would have the second monitor here, you have the iPhone in between them, and then just need to go ahead and close that out, and then take this, drag it over, connect to Mac or PC. It's giving me problems. This happens sometimes. Okay, sometimes when you turn on Duet, it crashes, and you really have to, you'll get beach ball of death when your cursor crosses Duet, and you have to save and quit everything and then restart the computer. The best thing to do is to go down here, have it docked, Duet dock, and you go down here, you tap it and hold and hit open before you turn on Duet in the iPhone. That seems to help. So right now I have the Duet going, and what I'm going to do is, I've already gone to System Preferences, and I have the iPhone up into here on the right, and I'm going to undock it, and just going to, let's see, there we go, undock, and I'm just going to drag it over, and then it's in the Duet right now, and all I'm going to do is just hit the little plus green, and there you go. Now all you have to do is stick this in a Google Cardboard, or stick this in, I use a Homodo HMD viewer, and you can hand it to your client and they can look around, and you can go all the way around 360 degrees. There's the little fella in the back, go around, and there's the fella right there. So I left you a screen right here. Let's see if I can bring my cursor over. I left you this screen right here, so if they want to make any changes, you can go ahead and do that. This is the issue. I do not operate off of this. This is huge, and with this, it tends to make the screen on the Duet on the iPhone choppy, which is not good, and it also kind of separates it. Sometimes you'll have the left eye move before the right eye, that type of deal. Now, this is another reason why I didn't try stereo, because I thought, with mono, it's getting, two of the small screens are getting fed the same information. It should be fine. But if they're going to have to think separate on the screens, it might be a bit of an issue. I try to make it as fast as possible. So, and another thing you need to do is make sure that you're not highlighting anything. That tends to slow down. If you have one of the screens in the dual screens on the iPhone highlighted, it slows it down. Now, another thing is the menus on the iPhone screen. If you're on Windows, from what I understand, you can go into full screen and it gets rid of them. The problem is if you go up here to full screen for full screen mode, it doesn't make any changes here. As a matter of fact, it just froze. Oh, okay, because Osculator's saying, hey, pay attention to me. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. Not yet. And go back to here, and we are back live. Okay. Quick note here, guys and gals. If for some reason you lose the plugin FOSC, it's real easy. You just go back and re-up it, and then just dock it back down again. How this can happen is if you switch views to, like, let's say animation, then switch back to HMD. See, it disappears. Or if you try to reset HMD by just going to HMD again to reset everything because you accidentally moved something or undocked the wrong thing, you just go back to plugins, do FOSC, and drag it in. And see, right there. I'm just going to go ahead, hit HMD, and I'm going to take the plugins, FOSC, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it down. Make sure that it's just going to here. Now, another thing, also make sure that the listening port, I think, is supposed to be 9000. And then hit start server, and then you've got your control back. And let's go ahead and go back to Osculator and hit reset. There we go. And just hide Osculator because we want it running in the background. Now, another thing is double click on the Espresso tag and it pops up here. And this right here is where everything hooks up. When you try to build something from scratch with FOSC and you have create null messages on here, it will create these nulls right here. Gyro 0, 1, and 2, and that's where I have it hooked up here. Gyro 0, 1, and 2, and just follow these right here. So if you need to do it from scratch right here, the Espresso should have the proper setup for you, and with the proper camera hookups. And that's basically it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And I hope everything's going well. And this is Perry, and I am No One You Know for StoryToPixel.com.